All right, so let's look at common denominators. Common denominators are used to find equivalent fractions. So fractions that are equal, or it's used to compare fractions, which is greater than, less than, or equal to. Now, when we say common, we mean the same. So denominators is, if we have 1/4, this is the denominator. The denominator is the bottom number in a fraction. This is the denominator. This is the numerator. So we are looking to find fractions that have the same denominator. Now, what if we have a fraction that doesn't have the same denominator? 1/2 and 2/4. And it asks us to compare which one is greater than, less than, or equal to. Now, you could do your third grade strategy, which is a good strategy. It works, but it gets more complicated as we go. You could do a third grade strategy, which is using a model. So if I want to compare 1/2 and 2/4, I could make a model. Now remember, the important part is the models have to be the same size. They have to be relatively the same size and shape. So if I'm comparing 1/2 and 2/4, I can say, okay, here's 1/2 because it is one piece shaded in out of 2 pieces total. And if I'm going to make this one 2/4, I want to make it look similar. Now, can I change this and partition to make it 4? Yes, I can add a partition here. Now I have 4 total pieces. Then we want to shade in a similar portion. So is 1/2 greater than, less than, or equal to 2/4? It is equal to. This is using a model. This is not finding common denominators, but this shows us the math on how to find a common denominator. So we can also check our fourth grade strategy to see if we agree. In order to find a common denominator, we're going to use multiples and, well, multiples or factors. These are our 2 strategies. The 2 strategies that we use. Now, a lot of times people do these in their head. They don't even have to write them down. But writing it down is always better. So, multiples are the multiples of a number. So when you skip count, those are the multiples. So the multiples of 2 would be 2, 4, what's next? 6, next, 8, next, 10. All right, the multiples of 4 would be 4, what's next? 8. If you don't remember how to do this, you can just add on. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So when we look here, we can say, oh, look, I have a common multiple. Now, you pretty much know 2 times 2 equals 4. But if you're not sure, you can use the multiples. So in order to make this a common denominator, we're going to change this 1/2 to have a denominator of 4. So 1/2, how are we going to get it to equal 2/4? Well, we don't know if it's 2/4. Well, we think it's 2/4. But in order to find our common denominator, what do we need to do to this 2 to get to 4? It needs to get bigger. We're not going to add. We're going to multiply. All right, so 2 times what equals 4? 2 times 2. Now, In order to make this fraction the same, because we're finding an equivalent fraction, we're going to multiply by 1. And we know that 1 equals any number over itself. Because, oh, you can't see that part.